Miami has now landed 7 transfers in the last 11 days. This tweet is from yesterday. 2 experienced defensive backs, an All-American kick returner. Texas is starting kicker for the last 3 years. He's making it sound like this is all really good, and Miami fans are, of course, very excited about all the new additions. But, Coop, how should they view this spring portal haul?
It is good. It's a reason to be optimistic if you're Miami. It's just different. That's all that it is. That's the way that I would label it. And what I mean by that is we talked about those 7 additions that Matt was alluding to there. To get those guys in the spring portal is not often something that you see from contenders. And you're talking about Mario Cristobal going into year 4. If there's 7 players that you need to add, a lot of these guys are going to add depth, but they're going to add competitive depth. They're going to be asked to come in without a spring under their belt and compete for a starting role. I mean, you think about some of these guys, Keelan Marion, that was a really big addition for a receiving core that is missing out on a lot of production now off to Sundays. Tony Johnson as well, they bring over from Cincinnati. Jacoby Thomas was an absolute need that they had to have at safety. Kamal Bonner, another one of those guys that's going to be expected to play and step right in. And then Shamar Brown, who they bring over from North Dakota State, is a guy that solves a big piece of the puzzle for them as their third running back behind Jordan Lyle and Mark Fletcher. And then they pick up Keontae Scott last night, and then they add a kicker in Bert Auburn from Texas as well. These are all guys that have the opportunity to play a significant role. It's just a little bit of an outlier for a team that won 10 wins last season to be addressing all these needs in the spring portal. In the same vein, I'm the same guy heaping a lot of praise on LSU, who has the #1 transfer portal class in the country. They have the same number of commits as Miami does in 18. So it's not necessarily a bad thing. I just think it's interesting to the fact that when you're looking for starting caliber players in the spring portal window, it's a lot more difficult, and the number is a lot higher for how much you're going to pay, and it's not something that I think you can continue to live with. And if you do it 1 year, great. If you do it year over year over year, it becomes a little bit more volatile of an equation that you have to work out. So I'm going to be fascinated at some point to see, like, when is the development there in Miami of all these highly touted recruiting classes take place. And I think it's one more year that Mario's kind of kicking the can down the road, and we'll see what happens. But credit to them. They've now positioned this 2025 team to compete head-to-head with Clemson and the rest of the ACC to win that conference.
So where's maybe the worry that they're having to fill a lot of these holes in the spring when you go and you look at what potentially they're going to do this fall? I mean, is there any worry when you think
The worry
about that?
is the lack of continuity. You have a new defensive coordinator, right? And now all of a sudden you're bringing in all these new bodies, new secondary coaches as Will Harris comes in, right? And this is kind of the 11th hour that you're trying to throw this all together, and they're throwing a lot of numbers in that defensive back room. They've done a good job with the talent identification and talent acquisition. They are bringing the right people in there. It's just a lot to bring together very quickly when you have the type of expectations that Miami has. All I'm saying is if you do it 1 year, I think that's okay. If you get in the habit of doing this year after year after year, it could catch up to you, and I think that's the thing that I'm pointing out here.
Exactly. And you mentioned, too, that this is something that we don't typically see from contending teams to put this many resources and bring in this many players during the spring transfer portal window.